Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, my goodness. That was scary. So very scary sounding. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Source Material, episode 117. Extra special. Actually, that number means nothing, but it is tonight we bring to you, we celebrate the recent release in the Alien franchise, Alien Covenant, okay? And we're going to do that by discussing a book that came out last year from Dark Horse. Now, Dark Horse has had a hold of the Alien franchise since I can remember. Back in the 90s, they were putting out Aliens books. So they have published quite a bit in the, what would you say, the history of Aliens here. And we get... It seems like each story brings us kind of a new glimpse into that world. And I've covered actually one book on here, I believe. I don't know. I think it was one. I was thinking, I get that mixed up with Predator every once in a while. But Aliens, we did an AVP, Aliens versus Predator, not too long ago with our good friend, Stephen Marsh. And we had a fun time discussing that. So this evening, we'll be talking a book called Aliens Defiance. And it came out, like I said, last year. We're going to talk about the first 6 issues. Now, from what I understand, this is a series that is still going right now. Should, I think, end at issue 12. We're going to bring on our guest hosts, of course, here. It's Source Material. I'm not going in alone. Haven't done so in a very long time, and I'm glad to say that because I hate torturing my listeners. So let me first bring on the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who just had a birthday. His name is Ronnie Adams. Happy birthday to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
What'd you do? Did you do anything exciting on your birthday, man?
Well, I always take take a little vacation about the week of my birthday. So I actually went in to see my family because my birthday fell on the same week as Mother's Day. So I went to see, my mom and my dad. Well, went to see my mom for Mother's Day. And that's, went out to dinner and hung out with some friends and had a good old time.
That's the way to celebrate a birthday, dude. That is a way to do it. Did you have a chance to catch any movies or anything while you was out?
I went to see Guardians of the Galaxy again.
What do you think of it, man?
Man, I love that. It's another home run. I mean, it was so good. Yeah, oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
I haven't seen it yet, so I mean, everybody I've talked to has said it's really good. So I know that our second co-host tonight, as a matter of fact, he was in on the review that we did right here on the Radulich and Broadcasting Network. His name is Mark Radulich. Sir, how are you doing this evening?
I'm alive!
Hooray!
Yay!
I am well.
It's good to hear.
A little dicey
Yay!
with me these days. Yay! It's the Muppet Show! Yay! I am well. I am functional. I am able to participate. So, I'm here, and yes, I did. That was a review I actually did make it on for, was Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought it was one of the better Marvel films, as a matter of fact, is what I said about it. I also said that it was more of a character piece than the first one, which a lot of people have a problem with, and this is why we can't have nice things.
No, we can't develop characters. What? That can't happen.
Yeah.
Not in a space fantasy movie.
A movie that explores the characters and their relationships. Fuck all that. More space battle.
No shit. Wow. Well, yeah, like I said, I haven't had a chance to watch, but a lot of people have said it was a great movie, and my plan was to go catch it on my birthday, but did not happen. I just I went to Free Comic Book Day, which, by the way, did you boys participate in Free Comic Book Day?
I had to work.
Oh. How about you, Ronnie Adams? Did you make it to a comic shop?
I didn't.
What?
There's not much to choose from. Yeah, there's not much to choose from as far as brick and mortar go around here.
I hear you. Does digital doesn't do anything for Free Comic Book Day, I'm sure, because the point of that thing is to get it.
Yeah, they're always giving away free comic books, though.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you can't complain about that. What was you going to say, Mark?
I wanted to participate in Free Comic Book Day, and not for myself, but I wanted to at least take my daughter, and I'm trying to expose my kids as much as I can to comic books and use that as a way to encourage them to read. And with my daughter has she's not really tapping into the superhero comics as such. She likes like the Disney Princess comic and the Frozen comic, and I think she bought a Scooby-Doo the last time she was there. And she's been more doing that than anything else. And my son's really too young. I mean, if I get him anything from a comic book store, it's always like $1, one of those like preview comic type things. I think one has a flash on it, and he saw that and he was like, "This one," and I'm like, "Sure."
Here we go.
Yeah, whatever makes me happy. But with my daughter, she likes superheroes, and it's definitely something that we bond over. But she's not yet into reading any of the superhero comics, no matter how much I've tried to expose her to them. I'm also going to miss out on Wonder Woman Day. The weekend that Wonder Woman comes out is actually the weekend of my birthday, and I have to work once again.
Oh.
So
yes.
2 opportunities to expose my kids to comic books on a day where it was kind of a huge deal, and I'm going to miss both this year.
Well, that's unfortunate. I took Caleb. We went down to our local shop here, Asylum Comics, and their new location. This was their first Free Comic Book Day at the new, bigger location here on 3rd Street in Marietta. And it was nice, man. I mean, it was pouring down the rain. So their old location, most of the stuff, number one, it was really small on the inside, so you couldn't fit no more than probably about 30 people in there at the very most. I'm saying at the most. I don't know if I've ever seen 30 people in there, but I could tell you that with the new location, all the stuff that they used to have outside, they had a whole room in the back that they could put all the kids' stuff where they could color. And even though it was cold and like rainy and crap up here, and it was not very fun, but didn't matter for Free Comic Book Day because you could go inside and hang out in there, and the kids had all sorts of fun activities, including video games, free video games, and get to color some cool pictures. So yeah, it was all right. We had a good time. We spent probably a good hour there, and just hung out and got to talk to some other great comic book reading people, and it was fun. So I'm glad you got it next year. What's that? Your daughter's
not into it?
My daughter was like, yeah, Caleb was definitely down. Colton, I just didn't feel like, dragging the stroller out and then trying to keep him from, eating comics, which he's old enough not to do that. But what's that? He's
Your
3.
Son's 3,
but
isn't he?
Dude, he's gonna. Dude, do you understand restraints, right? That's the whole point. It's keeping them in one spot.
Oh, I see.
I know you understand restraints, sir.
No, I definitely understand restraints for inmates. I'm more of a free. I'm a free range parent. The minute we got rid of our stroller, I sold the stroller as soon as we could. I hate it. I hated. When we got rid of strollers and diapers, I was like, thank God I no longer have babies. And me, and my son is 3, but he's pretty good as far as if I bring him into some place, keeping his hands to himself.
Well, how long do you stay in said place, though? See, I think Colton would have had a fun time coloring, but I don't know. It would have been tough. So I was just like, Caleb, you want to go? And Caleb's like, sure. Kira was like, I don't want to go, but please pick me up some comics. And I'm like, okay. So I ended up having to. She wanted me to pick her up a couple anyway, so I got. She definitely had to have the SpongeBob comic. That's been a staple for years, but yeah, she didn't. She wasn't into. I don't know if she was doing something that day or what, but I think she's growing out of that silly stuff, and it breaks my heart. I never broke my heart more than when she didn't want to go to wrestling with me anymore. We do Remix up here happens. Remix Pro Wrestling happens twice a year, and she did not want. It was about a year and a half ago. She was like, "I don't want to go anymore. I'm not interested." And I was like, "Man, let's stop being all teenager before you're a teenager. Just hang out with your dad for a little bit, for Pete's sake." But anyway, enough of that jazz. I am glad you guys got to get on here tonight. We are going to be discussing Aliens Defiance. And Mark, now we came to this book just because we were looking for something to tie in with the movie release, which is what we do here. Was there anything that stuck out to you when you suggested Defiance, other than it was just the most recent Alien story?
I mean, I had read reviews on it. Basically, anything that sorry, my wife is distracting me with an article that says Antioch father dies after eating nacho cheese. He got botulism.
Got botulism from the nacho cheese? I swear I just saw an article on Facebook about somebody being like laid up in the hospital from eating gas station nachos. I kid you not. That was like
in the
last 2 days.
Yeah, that might be. We're going to be talking about the same story. 5 people were hospitalized. My internet is way slow tonight. But 5 people were hospitalized after eating gas station nachos.
Oh, dude.
And
Number one,
and one of them was a father.
When's the last time, Roddy Adams, you ate anything from a gas station, like off of the grill or in a bun? Was that recently, or has that ever been ever?
No.
Every time
I've done it.
One. Every time I walk into one, ladies and gentlemen.
Are you serious?
Gas station burritos. That's been my new favorite thing lately. Is the gas station burritos? But no, dude, I love gas station food.
You sir are.
I live off gas station food.
Okay.
Gross. Thanks, Ron.
You sicko.
What?
Well, do you have a preferred gas station you go to? Is it Speedway like we have up here, or what is it down there?
7-Eleven. 7-Eleven.
Okay,
yeah.
That's a staple.
Wawa.
If it's going to be one, it's going to be 7-Eleven. But I mean, back in the day, I would eat a gas station hot dog in a New York Minute, and slather it down with that cheese on it. But now I'm like,
I don't know.
I don't touch the cheese. I don't eat the cheese. If I get anything off like the gas station grill, it's one of them cheeseburger big bites, which they don't even sell anymore. So I rarely even do that much. But I'm more into like the sandwiches or the salad. Like I've been getting, that chicken salad sandwich that's like cut into triangles. I get those. Gas station burritos, I get those. That's what I'm into these days. For a while,
I have not
the chicken Caesar salad wrap.
I've never partaken, so I guess I'm going to have to join the club, I guess. I don't think I've ever ate anything hot.
It's
not
a club you have to join. No.
Well, I would figure that you'd have to stake out, like, okay, this is the busiest place, so they got the freshest stuff, hopefully. Because,
I think just
because
one guy dies of botulism doesn't mean every gas station is serving poison.
Well,
no,
I
but
don't...
it makes you a little leery.
Yeah,
Not me.
kind of makes you worried.
Well, look, I wasn't going to eat any of the nacho cheese anyway, so I think we're safe. Anyway,
okay, all right.
So back to Aliens Defiance. Before I buy anything, or before I suggest anything, oh look, Alabama's selling with a Charlie Daniels band. God damn it!
Turn off the computer right now.
Wait, wait.
What now? Oh God, it's called the Southern Drawl Tour.
Southern Drawl. Wow. Now I'm not
Southern
into
Drawl
country
Tour.
music, but
Charlie Daniels?
Alabama and Charlie Daniels?
Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah, I would go to that. Hey, Melissa, you want to go see Alabama and the Charlie Daniels band?
Shit,
in
yeah.
Tampa? My wife says she refuses to commit to anything. So
oh, jeez. All right. So anyway, back to Aliens Defiance.
Take 3. I read the reviews on it. The reviews were all good, and so if it comes highly recommended from a few different sources, like I'll go to Goodreads, I'll go to Amazon. Yeah, for the most part, I'm seeing nothing but good reviews, and it meets the criteria for the topic that we're trying to synergize with. Then sure, why the hell not? I mean,
why the hell not?
It's not like these are 500-page books here. I've been averaging about a day or two to finish most of these. To finish most of these trades that we've been reviewing on here. So I figured, the worst that'll happen is somebody will turn into a building and fight Gollum, and it'll suck.
We've been there.
But most of them have been good.
That definitely is the worst that could happen.
Have been good. Yes. For every wacky wasteland or living weapon, we review 4 or 5 that are perfectly fine.
Okay. All right. Well, Brian Wood is our writer here. This guy, boy, I don't know. Have you guys ever heard of Brian Wood before? Sounds awful familiar. Okay. Well, let me go ahead and bring up the Wikipedia, and we'll go ahead and talk about some of the other stuff that he's done, because I know for a fact that I've heard this dude's name before. Let's go down through it here just real quick. Looks like he had his hand in... Oh, he says Wood co-created DMZ, which I've heard is a very good series.
It is. Okay. So...
Yeah, so that strikes a chord. Ronnie, didn't you say it was...
Yeah.
It's like... something happened. I don't know if I had you describe it on here or if I had somebody else describe it on here. Where
you had Calandris describe it.
Calandris, yeah. Where it's like it was... Manhattan become a demilitarized zone or something, and the press was trying to get in or something. Okay, all right. He also wrote a series of...
Basically.
Okay. Wrote a series of X-Men comics for Marvel, Wolverine and the X-Men, Alpha and Omega, Image Comics, The Couriers, never heard of them. Never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, we've got Aliens Defiance, which we're talking about tonight. Now, as for our artist, Tristan Jones, another name I'm not up on. So there's your creative team: Brian Wood, Tristan Jones, colorist Dan Jackson, because we'd like to give our colorists a definite nod. And I want to go ahead and say that these covers that on actually all these books, these 6 issues that we're talking about, Massimo Carnevale, I'm going to say. At least he was the one for issue 1. I'd assume he'd done all. I think the art pretty much looks the same throughout all 6 covers. And I was impressed with the artwork on the covers there. So, all right. So here's how it's going to break down. I want to do a little bit of character intros here first, and then we'll get into the issues themselves. We're going to do the standard breakdown. I'll do the synopsis of the issues, and then I think I'll take the first talking point, and then I think Ronnie's going to take the second talking point of the second 2 issues, and then Mark's going to round us out after I give the synopsis of issues 5 and 6. But first off, let's talk about our main protagonist here real quick, Zula Hendricks. She is a Colonial Marine, which you guys are going to learn. If you're not familiar with the Alien franchise, you're going to learn a little bit about the Colonial Marines tonight. Also, we want to talk a little bit about the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Mark, you got your best, non-spoiler description of the Weyland-Yutani Corporation?
They are the corporation of the future. They are the corporation that funds all of these exploration missions, these colonization missions that have been a part of the Aliens films. They were the ones funding the mining operation that Ripley and her first set of team members were on in the very first Alien movie. I don't think people remember that first mission. They were carrying it was some sort of mining operation. They were carrying some sort of ore, some sort of huge refining machine on the ship.
Uh-huh.
And they happened to have heard a signal that brought them to the ship that had the space jockey on it, and ultimately the eggs that attacked Kane. And there we go. But that's the Weyland-Yutani Corporation. Once they learned of the xenomorphs, whenever it was they've learned them, and now the aliens' timeline's a little cockeyed these days. But whenever it was they learned of the existence of xenomorphs, they have been obsessed with every subsequent movie with bringing the murder beast, as Sean calls them, Sean Comer, back to Earth to study to use as a biological weapon. It never goes well. The last time they tried it was, if you count this as canon, and it's debatable whether or not it's canon at this point, is Alien Resurrection, where they actually had, I think, 3 aliens on board, and they were training them to be weapons, and it was all going very, very well until the aliens rebelled, killed one of their own, used it to escape, and then proceeded to tear apart the ship.
Never goes well. Ronnie Adams, xenomorphs. Okay, it's a strange name for an alien when you could just call them the aliens, but hey, xenomorphs, that's the technical term. Why don't you give our listeners your description of what these xenomorphs look like, and just what kind of makes them the murder beast that they are?
Well, a physical description, you can't. I mean, oh my gosh, they have an elongated skull. They're wiry. They're huge, but even for that, they look. Their arms are a little skinny. It seems like their head, like I said, it's huge. They have they open their mouth and another mouth shoots out of it.
The inner mouth.
The inner mouth.
It's actually considered a tongue.
What'd you say?
It's considered a tongue, I guess.
It's a tongue.
That's
with
a tongue?
mouth on it.
Oh, come on. Nasty. All right.
They have acid blood, acidic blood that can burn through just about, anything. It'll burn through multiple levels of any, space shuttle, spaceship, whatever that it's in. So if it's on top of you and you happen to wound it, or the far bet is kill it, you're still screwed because it will bleed on you and you will still die. They're usually all black. One of them looked like Sigourney Weaver at one time, I think.
One of the aliens looked like Sigourney Weaver?
No, you're talking again Alien Resurrection, and it was
the
Queen gave birth to an alien that had human features.
Right.
That looked like Sigourney Weaver?
It didn't look like Sigourney Weaver. It looked like a sad puppy.
Oh, no.
Alien Resurrection was not good.
No, it was not.
Was that Alien 3? Was that the one we covered in
4.
Wizard number 8?
No,
oh,
no,
okay.
No.
All right.
Alien 3 is the one with the dog alien on the prison planet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Right.
All right.
So they're terrifying to look at. Even in the first one, when you don't see it, you don't see really good up close. You do, but it's shadowed. It's you kind of have to guess. They're still terrifying. So they're absolutely horrible. You can't really see any eyes on it. And it's basically it seems like its only function, its only reason to live is to destroy.
Yeah, and breed and
has no
make more of these
skills.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well,
and just about anything.
Can I add to that?
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Well, what Prometheus and spoiler alert. Okay, folks, if you haven't seen Alien Covenant yet and you don't want any spoilers, just turn this off now because I'm about to spoil everything.
Ronnie, you could take your headset, put it away, and I'll message you when he's done.
Well, I'll probably forget it.
All right.
David created the xenomorphs, which started basically the xenomorphs came from the black goo and a lot of crossbreeding. But ultimately, David from Prometheus, who was the paranoid android, created after he murders Shaw in between movies. By the way, he used her body and a bunch of other parts and created the eggs that created the face huggers, and there's the face huggers that finally bring us the finished xenomorph form. So you have neomorphs and you have the Deacon, but these are all precursors to the xenomorph that you meet in Alien and you see in Aliens and so on and so forth. There are different kinds of xenomorphs, like I said, and it really depends on what they pop out of. Some examples of this would be the dog alien from Alien 3, because the facehugger jumped on a dog, and there you have it. So you have the xenomorph cross with a dog thing. You have the predalien, which is the xenomorph cross with a predator, which we see at the end of Alien versus Predator, and then there's the big muckety-muck of Alien versus Predator Requiem, which, again, may or may not be canon, depending on how much of a stickler you are to those pieces of shit movies. But basically, to reiterate, the xenomorphs started out as black goo. And the black goo, what we learned from Prometheus, is basically a biological weapon set to just destroy. When the engineers want to destroy the life that they create, this is what they use to do it. And what you'll find out in Alien Covenant is they are hoisted by their own petard where the alien goo is concerned, the black goo. So I won't say anything more than that. But
okay.
That's where the xenomorphs come from.
Let me tell you, I want to share this, Ronnie. I don't know if I shared this on Screaming Boy a while back or not, but I sat down one night, and it was after Prometheus had left theaters, went to Redbox, or so I could get the DVD. And my wife had went to bed, and I was like, I'm gonna watch this Prometheus. I had no idea what it was about. All right, so sit down.
Did you know it was connected? Did you know it was at least connected to the Alien franchise?
You have no clue the elation and the scream I let out at the end of the movie when it was like, holy shit, it's the aliens. And I was like, this is unbelievable. I had no clue going into the movie until I reached the very end and saw what had happened. I was like, wait a second. Things are looking, oh, my gosh, no way. Yes. I went into Prometheus with no knowledge whatsoever. And it was the coolest fucking ending to a movie I'd seen in a long time. But
okay, well, we got to remember, that species of xenomorph is called the Deacon, and it's not a xenomorph proper. It's like a precursor.
Yeah, this is this occurred. This was a precursor to all this stuff. I believe it or not, I actually gathered that, and very interesting stuff. Because there is a lineage. And Mark, man, didn't you say you read some of the Aliens comics back when you was younger?
Yeah. Yep. When I was reading comic books in high school, I read a lot of the Alien stuff. I still remember, and I don't remember what it was called, but there was one particular Alien comic where they actually go to like the alien homeworld. And again, this has all been since written out of canon. But or what they believe is the alien homeworld. This is just a world full of xenomorphs. And like this group of scientists like set up, like they land and they immediately erect the shield. And the next panel, it's every xenomorph ever climbing, just trying to get through this energy shield to get at these scientists. It looks cool as shit. Scary as shit, but cool as shit too. Yeah,
nice.
Just imagine like an invisible dome covered in xenomorphs. Angry xenomorphs.
Man, the Aliens franchise has branched out across. Not only did it, obviously it hit comics, but in comics itself, we've seen Alien versus Predator a handful of times in the comics, and also there's been some neat crossovers with. I know there's Aliens Superman, and I know there's Aliens Batman, which I'd love to read at some point just to see how they handled that crossover. And I think, if I remember correctly, there is a Terminator, Predator, Aliens, or maybe it's Terminator, RoboCop, Aliens. I'll have to look that up. It might be all four franchises: Terminator, RoboCop, Aliens, Predator. So Dark Horse had a fun time taking all those properties. Yeah, dude, I'd love to read it. I'm a crossover fanatic, so one of these days I might just have to pull it up.
I had the video game for Terminator versus RoboCop.
Nice. Yeah, and they did an AVP video game that came out in the 90s, I think. And it was really popular. I can remember my buddy playing it on the computer, and I was like, man, this looks really good because, you could be either a Colonial Marine, a Predator, or an Alien, and, being able to walk on the ceilings and shit like that. I was like, oh, man, this looks awesome. Never played it, though. I just watched my buddy play it, and then, that's how it goes. But, all right, let's get into the story here. One other person, or one other character, I guess, or character type I should bring up. Mark kind of mentioned the synthezoids. Weyland-Yutani has these robots that are androids that usually are dispatched along with the Colonial Marines to kind of help things. So just imagine, just like your regular old guy, looks like you and me, except underneath, and sometimes unbeknownst to the Colonial Marines themselves, if I remember correctly, in the last AVP that we covered here on source material, it was kind of up in the air as to whether one of them was a synthezoid. And I think that happens in Prometheus as well. But regardless, that's your idea of who the synthezoids are. They're robots that know their stuff, and they're usually sent there to help out the Colonial Marines. All right. Drum roll, please. Here we go. We're getting into issues 1 and 2 of Aliens Defiance. Now, Mark, I really wanted to cue you up for like a Deep Space Nine Defiant joke here, but I couldn't find it. So you're just going to have to you're just going to have to deal with the fact that I couldn't I couldn't let you slip your nerdhood in there this evening. But anyway, Aliens Defiance 1 through 6. I'm going to start with the first 2 issues here. We are introduced to the Colonial Marine Zula Hendricks. She's the sole human amongst a division of synthezoids called the Davises. The Davises. As they are investigating a salvage derelict ship. I'll say that again. They are salvaging a derelict ship called the Europa. Now, what happened to the crew? Well, you guessed it. The ship was ravaged by the xenomorphs. During a battle with the xenomorphs, Hendricks is hit and collapses and is moved to stasis for over. Next thing you know, she's waking up. I have no idea. There's nothing that other than, I guess, it like shows her kind of blacking out, and then she wakes up, and it's been 20 days has passed. And when she awakes, she finds out that the original mission of salvaging the ship and bringing it back, the original mission was salvaging the ship and bringing it back to Earth's orbit. It didn't go as planned. When she asks if the orders had changed, because they aren't going back to Earth like they were originally planning to, a specific synth by Davis 1 tells her that he has decided not to follow the order given by Weyland-Yutani and that he plans to go and kill the aliens before Weyland-Yutani can get them. Now, remember what Mark was talking about, how Weyland-Yutani wants to get a hold of these aliens, bring them back and do some genetic mumbo-jumbo with them and maybe clone, use them as turn them out for a profit. Well, one of the synthezoids has decided to break orders and go against its own programming. So now we realize that these drones on the ship are actually disobeying Weyland-Yutani orders, and they plan to go and kill these aliens before Weyland-Yutani can get them. Almost unheard of. So that's kind of issue 1. That's your big cliffhangers. You find out that, oh crap, Davis he's gone off the grid. What's going on? Now issue 2, we get a little bit of a backstory on Hendricks, who it's kind of alluded to in the first issue, where she's having some trouble with her legs, Lieutenant Dan. She has legs, but they don't work so well.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, whatever. She can't. Something happened. She got hurt. She got hurt in a battle, and she was transported, I think, to the medical bay. They worked on her, and then she's able to use her legs, but she has to have these treatments. So she's getting special treatments in order for her to be able, nerve treatments, whatever it is, to where she can walk. It's some kind of spinal trauma, I guess. Now she's worried. She's worried of what the sense would think. Remember, she's the only human that's amongst all these robots, and what she doesn't want to do is make these robots think that she can't function correctly, because then if that's the case, then they won't need her. But she's, of course, one tough mama. She's a Colonial Marine, for Pete's sake. She gets up. She's able to walk with what they were able to do with her there on the ship. And they're heading on their way to station LV 4440, which is apparently a base on its way to the planet that they're heading to. Davis apparently realizes that sorry, I sent a message. Anyway, they're on their way to LV 4440. The team searches. They find a nest on there. Surprise, surprise, filled with aliens. And we get our first picture of a queen xenomorph on here, who runs back into her nest. And, of course, Zula throws in the bomb, shuts the door, and as they escape the space station, it explodes, and it takes out all the aliens along with a good part of LV 4440. So that's pretty much issue 2. Issue 1 is our introduction, and of course their first run-in with the aliens happens in amongst issue 1, and then of course Zula's real big introduction to the Queen and her mettle, I guess we would say, as she's able to take out that first alien, and that's issue 2 of this. So, okay, talking points here. I mean, I'm trying to think of when I first read these issues, one of the things that stood out to me was the fact that she was the only human amongst all these robots that they sent up. So I guess really, I mean, Ronnie, I'll ask you, clearly, do you think that was on purpose? Because, why only send up one human?
Well, I think she said at some point, what did I do to you have to ask yourself, what did I do to draw this assignment or something like that, didn't she?
Probably.
Unless I'm making that in my head. But you got to think to yourself, who'd she take off? Because, or either that or she's really good at her job. Or is it supposed to be a cake mission because, she's hurt? But it's definitely something that, in my mind, you wouldn't want to be a part of because, something's not right.
Yeah, when you're going up and you're the only human being amongst all these synthezoids, I don't understand. I wouldn't trust Weyland-Yutani as far as I could throw them. Of course, if they're going to throw money at you to do these things, and it's not like I assume it's not well known amongst everybody that this corporation has been corrupt for so long or whatever. But Mark, you got anything you got anything to add to that? Is there,
I don't know why anyone works for this company. They are constantly selling out their employees to try to. I mean, they keep doing it. They did it in the second Aliens movie. They did it in the first Alien. Now that I'm remembering, Ash had who was the synth on that mission had orders once they discovered an alien to get a sample of the species home, at the cost of the crew. It's like Weyland-Yutani, fuck the people. We want aliens. That's their motto. And how is this not a known thing? Like, here, fill out your W-2, fill this out. Oh, and here's this waiver that says that if we find a xenomorph in space, you're fucked, pal. Not really wild about this, but you're the best gig in town, so I guess I'll sign up. It's just a weird thing, this franchise.
Yeah. Has there always been a mistrust? I can't remember in the movies, but was there always like mistrust amongst the humans and the synthezoids, or were they
okay.
always?
Let me break this down for you.
Break it down for me, Mark.
All right. So in our very first vision of what this is the movie Alien, right? And I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but basically, like I said, the android on that ship turns against the crew because it has orders that if they should happen to find an alien species out there, bring it home at the cost of the crew. And so at one point, it tries to kill Ripley, who was Sigourney Weaver. She, after having the experience with Ash, develops a hatred for these things. But Bishop, who is the alien, who is the android in Alien, synthezoid.
You call it whatever you want, man.
Has no ulterior motives. Makes a point of saying that the Ash model is a bit twitchy. And she still's like, stay the fuck away from me, Bishop, you evil guy, you. But Bishop comes through and saves the day right before the alien queen tears him in half. Now, there's no androids in Alien 3, but a Bishop or a version of Bischoff. I'm back! I'm better than ever. And then she throws herself into the fucking molten lava. Which is actually what happens.
What is happening?
But Bishop tries to convince her to come back with his group because they want the queen that's inside of her, and she's like, nope, and she commits suicide. And in Alien Resurrection, what's her face? Winona Ryder is the android. Only I don't think she knows that she's an android. I think she figures it out after she dies. Yeah, I'm right about that, right? She dies, and then she realizes, oh, wait a minute, I'm an android. And by that point, Sigourney Weaver's over the whole, like, I hate androids thing because she's half an alien herself. And she has bigger issues to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
So there isn't, like, a wide, like, disrespect or fear of androids. I mean, it's their tools, basically. She, in particular, her character happened to have had one bad experience with an android, and it sort of colors her perception of them in subsequent movies. But that's not. I would not say that is a universal thing with characters in this franchise.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So maybe that's where I'm getting it from. Go ahead. Say
it's
what?
Kind of like airplanes. Airplanes. Somebody has a bad experience on one, they don't want to fly anymore.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, kind of like one of those things.
Okay. Well, that's kind of all I really wanted to discuss on issues 1 and 2. Did either of you want to say anything before we move on to issues 3 and 4?
No. Well,
I'll just say.
Go ahead.
I picked Mark. Go ahead, Mark.
I just want to say that overall, what I liked about, and you'll have to excuse me, it's been like 2 weeks since I've read this, but what I liked about the book was, first of all, I liked the idea that the android in this one was actually going against his orders and was trying to help the human and, recognize that the murder beasts are exactly that, and there's no taming them, and recognizes that if we don't kill these things, they're going to destroy the human race. especially if one ever shows up on Earth. So I like that. I like the fact that, our hero, Shaka Zulu, is not
Shaka Khan
is not Superman. Has a problem with her legs, which actually leads to a plot point later on in the story. So there's a lot of things going on in this which make for a very interesting read. And and I realized that this is a fairly new series. So when were they supposed to make a movie out of it? But when you consider what they've done with the movie franchise after James Cameron's Aliens, and you look at this, it's just like, why can't studio executives be friendlier with the comic book people and make more of those things into movies? Because this would have made a great movie. This series would have made a great movie. It certainly would have been better than Alien 3 or Alien Resurrection.
Agreed. Ronnie, did you have something you wanted to say?
Well, kind of following on the back of Mark there, I really like the fact that the synth is more sympathetic to saving the humans at this point. And I tried reading the Alien Omnibus one time because it's on Comixology Unlimited. And daggone if that wasn't just like awful to read.
It was a chore?
But, oh, yeah, for me at least.
Where were you? I mean, are you talking about you were heading back to like the 90s and trying to read them from that era? Or okay, all right.
Yeah, it was like the entire omnibus of
Aliens books.
Of the Alien franchise, yeah. And
so the image that I was referring to from earlier, right? It was that had to have been in there somewhere.
Well, it is, but I didn't get that far. Because when I first started, it was just kind of like, I guess it wasn't what I was expecting. But this one, as soon as I started reading it, I was like, okay, I really got into it. In fact, I know we were doing only 1 through 6, but I got all the way up to 7 or 8.
Oh man, I had to stop too, dude. Mm-hmm. I had to tell myself to stop. I wanted to keep going.
So I'm really into it. I'll finish it after we do this show, but because I'm really curious as to what's going on. But it's been a pleasure to read.
Awesome. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We'll hop into issues 3 and 4 here. So starting in issue 3, Zula, again, she's having those issues. She's got to get these treatments in order for her spine to act right and her legs to be able to work. Which I don't know if it just affects her legs or if it completely makes her paralyzed. I don't know. I know it really messes her up. But now during this issue 3, there's the threat that the synthezoids might start to be found out by Weyland-Yutani, and Weyland-Yutani might be like, oh, wait a second, we got some rogue synths going on that mission. Clearly, the ship has not brought back the alien that we told them to bring back, and it just shot around the sun and headed back out into space. We've got a problem. So Weyland-Yutani has been trying to get a hold of this ship, and now there's the possibility, and it happens, as Weyland-Yutani is starting to reprogram some of the synths and revert them back to their original programming. And Davis is trying to get this stopped. I think in this particular battle, in this particular issue, one of the main plot points is they've got to try and sever the communications from Weyland-Yutani to the ship, so that these synthezoids don't turn on them. Well, as things progress, more and more androids start realizing what's going on, and their main mission now is to eliminate Davis. So we've got this, I think if I remember right, I think this issue's titled Mutiny, where the crew starts turning on Davis 1 and Zula, so they've got to try and save their own ass against all these synthezoids that are coming after them. So they finally are able to sever communications between the ship and Weyland-Yutani during this battle between them and the other synths. Davis engages in this one battle and says that he's going against his programming. I think this is with another android as they're battling. He says he's going against his programming for all of humanity, which is kind of weird. I'm kind of leery about a whole. I don't know. I know these things are kind of meant to be helpful to humanity, but a robot going against its orders. I mean, Mark Radlich has been warning me forever and a day on Facebook about robots going against their orders. I'm kind of worried. I don't care what they look like here. But anyway, on the last page of issue 3, we find a message was sent from the other sense to Weyland-Yutani requesting backup, and it was received before the communications went down, and that the rogue Davis and the Marine are considered expendable. So Weyland-Yutani is sending backup. Now Davis 1 and forgot her name already. Zula are in trouble. Okay, they're in deep doo-doo here. So issue 4 starts, and we get a bit of a flashback again with Zula Hendricks, and we see a lady. There's a famous name here. She's chatting with a lady at the medical bay, I believe, by the name of Amanda Ripley. Now, Mark, you sound like you know more about the Alien franchise than I do for sure. Is this it was Ellen Ripley? Was that, I want to say Ellen Ripley. Was that the name of Sigourney Weaver's character?
That's Sigourney Weaver, correct. Yes. Okay,
so is Amanda the little girl?
What little girl?
Wasn't there like what? No, the one. Okay, see, I'm already confused. Didn't she have a daughter?
No, it was Newt. Yeah.
Okay. Ripley has a daughter. It's not Newt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Newt
is the problem. Here's the problem. And okay, so we talked about this on Long Road to Ruin, and it really pissed me off that they cut this from the movie. And Sean and I actually got into a heated debate about whether or not it was worth keeping in the movie. My argument was that it was. Sean's argument was who gives a fuck, which is weird. But
yeah, shoes on different feet.
Yeah, but there's an entire subplot to the movie Aliens that deals with the fact that Ripley, who was in hypersleep for like 57 years, I think like her daughter died like while she was in hypersleep. She had missed so much of her life while she was asleep after the events of Alien, and how much it affected her. And yeah, there's a whole scene that deals with this that got cut from the movie, which I thought was a crime and should have been put back in. If you ever have an opportunity to see like the director's cut with that scene in it, you should do so. I think it adds to the movie. Sean disagreed. Sean didn't think it really added anything, and I was like, no, I think it gives you an element of the character that's important. She isn't just this crazy woman who saw an alien once, as one of the characters says. There's a whole lot of stuff that's going on with her. She's carrying an enormous amount of regret. It also informs her decision to lay it all on the line and protect Newt. There's a connection with her and Newt that has a whole other flavor, a whole other level to it when you realize that she's lost her own daughter. And she's and she's trying to almost impose that relationship on Newt, who at first is like, fuck off, lady. They're dead, all right, gonna go now. Just great accent on that little kid. Affirmative. Why don't you put her in charge? I could do this all day. Anyway, so yes, she in the movies had a daughter who died by the time the Weyland-Yutani Corporation found her.
Okay. Hopped on to the Alien Anthology Wikia page here. Now, folks, we're diving deep into this, but as soon as you see a name like Ripley, you're like, oh, how does this tie into our movies and so? Amanda Ripley McLaren is the daughter of Ellen Ripley. She was 10 years old when her mother disappeared following the loss of the Nostromo. 15 years after her mother's disappearance, Amanda was contacted by the Weyland-Yutani employee Samuels, who gave her information regarding her mother's possible whereabouts. Amanda joined the search team to locate her mother, which eventually led her to Sevastopol, a decommissioned trading space station. Okay, now I'm looking at this, and there is a picture here. This has to be from a video game. So I assume that this is, her story's probably told a little bit in the video game series. Regardless, she makes an appearance here in our 6-issue series, Aliens Defiance. Now, so we've delved into who Amanda Ripley is, even though she has like 2 or 3 panels in this whole 6 issues. But regardless, we kind of get an idea that she had contacts with Amanda Ripley. Now, Zula engages in another battle, and she gets a little bit. Maybe this is where they talk about her backstory, where she gets, where she falls and gets hurt, gets the spinal trauma. And they kind of show the backstory about how her commanding officer, who is a complete dickwad, comes in there while she's in the hospital. And I can't even remember the quote now. I just remember him like saying something like, we had you for one mission. We spent all this money, all this training, and you didn't even last one mission. And that was it.
It was we spent all this money on training. Now we got to spend all this money on medical care,
like rehab.
And we didn't we didn't even get one mission out of you.
Oh, that would just break your heart. But here we are. I don't know how many years after this has occurred, and she's still in the Marines, and she's a badass Marine. And okay, so Davis in this issue is doing a spacewalk outside of the compromised shuttle. Of this compromised shuttle that they're in, he's counting I think they're checking out. He's counting all these bodies and these aliens, and he's also like keeping souvenirs as well. I don't know if he's like grabbing. I think he grabs like an alien's. I don't know if it's a claw or something, but he's definitely bringing some of that back in with him. Now, at the end of this issue, Hendricks is contacting her daughter on here's the air quotes, folks, safe, secure channel, because she has to have her treatment for her spinal. So her doctors reached out to her. She's checking like her messages or something. Her doctors reached out to her and said, look, you need to contact me. Let me know what's going on. Your spine is not doing so hot. We need to talk. And sure enough, Hendricks has been feeling this over the past few issues. She knows that she's going to need something done, or she's going to be, she's going to be in dire straits. So sure enough, she's reached out to her doctor, and that's kind of where we leave issue 4. So Ronnie Adams, issues 3 and 4. What do you got to say? You got anything you'd like to bring up, sir?
I really like her as our hero of the story. Just like you said, she's not Superman. She's got her flaws, and they make reference to that several times. When I think it was in these issues. I've got to go back and look. But when they're talking about they're not perfect, and he says Davis says I remain imperfect because he's not following along with the orders that the other synths are getting. She goes, that's what makes you human. Or, that's what makes you human.
Mm-hmm.
And so it brings back, the flawed hero, the hero that you can get behind because she is human. And so I really, her story is what's made, of course, the fighting the aliens and the gore and the horror that comes with that, because in its own sense, it's not an action movie. It's not a sci-fi movie. It's really a horror movie. Alien, the very first one. And so you have that, but you also have somebody you can actually, like Sigourney Weaver, because she was your in the first one. She wasn't a soldier. She was just somebody who was trying to survive. And so it gives you somebody you can cheer for, and the fact that she can fight, just adds to it.
Yeah, you really start to see at the end of issue 4 the weakness that a human has. You know, when you start to fail and you start to fall apart, even though she's on this very important mission, and that's kind of, you know, now she's kind of involved in this whole, she's involved in this whole thing with the rogue android, but as soon as she starts to understand that she cannot be what she was, and you know, her body's starting to fall apart, she makes that call to her doctor. And man, I don't know if you guys were doing that. When I'm sitting here reading the issue, I'm going, don't do that, don't do it, don't do it. It's a trap. It's a trap. I mean, come on.
It's a trap.
And that was, of course, you speak about humanity. Well, there's her flaw. The fact that she feels that this is something that she needs to get taken care of, or she's no longer going to be able to be the Marine that she is. And sure enough, we all know it's a mistake. Is it a mistake? We have to wait till next issue to find out. But you know that's what's going on. Mark, you have anything you'd like to add to issues 3 and 4?
No, we can move on.
All right. Issues 5 and 6. Here we go. We're heading to the, we say conclusion. Folks, remember, this is a 12-issue series, so we're making the halfway point of the series, but the conclusion of tonight's episode. So issues 5 and 6. Here we go. Davis and Zula land on a gas station. Now, this is not the gas station you see in Spaceballs.
They land at Wawa.
They're not getting the wrong nacho cheese, my friends. They're not getting their speedy freezes. They land on this, like, I think it's some kind of a station that's outside of a gas giant, something like that. But regardless, they land on here, and the message to Zula's doctor, sure enough, gets them tracked down by a Colonial Marine ship. And of course, this gas station is infested with aliens. Luckily, though, they meet a survivor by the name of Dr. Hollis, who is able to explain to them what went down. You know, hey, we had these aliens on here, what we were doing with them, which I think they were testing on them or working on them in that station, if I remember right. But regardless, the aliens got loose, like they do, and they have ravaged the place. And sure enough, Dr. Hollis is the only one left. Now there's
like they do.
Like they do. You can't trust them aliens, them xenomorphs. You can't do it.
Yeah, we have the murder beast and no plan.
No, yeah, surprise. Now this is feeling like your typical alien movie. It's gone to shit, where, you know, things have got out of hand with the xenomorphs, and things are starting to fall apart. The Colonial Marines that have tracked down Zula Hendricks and Davis 01, their frigate has arrived. So now, not only do they have to contend with the murder beasts, but they have to figure out, well, we've got Colonial Marines that are coming to take care of us as well. Not two stones you want to be between, not one rock and a hard place here that you want to be at. So Davis, the android, figures that they may be able to use the aliens to run interference so they may escape. Now, just to let you know, that's the only plan, because I didn't think there was going to be any other plan, trust you me. I was like, you just let them deal with the aliens and get your ass out of there. So that didn't surprise me. The human could have come up with that one. But yeah, you let the aliens run interference so they can escape. But soon after that, they realize that the frigate is actually not there for them. It's there for a specimen to take back to Earth. So we've got trouble, folks.
Of course it is.
Of course it is. That's where issue 5 ends, and where we get into issue 6, we have the Great Escape, as a containment protocol is initiated on the base, and we have doors closing rapidly. Folks, you've seen this in just about every space movie. The doors are closing. You got to get through. You got to do a barrel roll. Get underneath the door. Help your friends. Your friends laying on the ground. Grab them. Drag them through the door before it closes. These doors are closing rapidly. They're getting to section after section. The heroes are trying to get through them. But Zula's back injury starts acting up during the run. Dr. Hollis tries to help her up and then falls down, gets her through the door, but Dr. Hollis is left behind, and she is attacked by some face huggers. Oh, the face huggers have shown their face. Yeah. But yes, so she's getting attacked by some face huggers. I wrote Dr. Hollis off. She's dead. That is not, no. Our heroes come to the rescue of Dr. Hollis, get the door open, get her out of there, and Hollis then divulges that Weyland-Yutani can indeed clone the xenomorphs if they had a specimen. So now it's important that these Colonial Marines don't make it back with a specimen. And if I remember correctly, the beginning of this issue 6, is it's Zula Hendricks targeting this space frigate. So that and then they, of course, like 24 hours earlier, they show you what's going on here that I'm describing. But anyway, so if the Colonial Marines make it back with a specimen, of course there's going to be trouble, and Zula has to make sure that doesn't happen as she destroys the escaping dropship with some torpedoes. Now our final panel shows Dr. Hollis. She's not feeling too well. I don't know what she ate, but she's got to go to the. You go to the gas station, you get the nachos. You go to the med bay, you get looked at. So she heads to a med bay. She has the computer do a sonogram on her, and of course we all know what's coming next. As they see, I don't know if they show it at the end of this one or not, but.
No,
I know
you don't know whether or not she's been impregnated by a...
Okay, all right.
At the end of the book,
you can kind of guess.
If she's been impregnated.
Yeah, I put on here...
It's unknown.
I put on here, we all know what's coming next, ... to be continued. That's right, folks. Issue 6. What going on? The nachos are acting up? What's the med bay see? I don't know.
You should never brought it up, Mark.
Nacho
you
business.
You really should never brought it up now.
Nacho business.
Wonderful stuff.
Jamaican me
crazy.
Jamaican me crazy.
So, Mark Radlich, issues 5 and 6. I mean, hey, I'm enjoying it so far. What do you got to talk about?
Again, I like the idea of they were actively trying to prevent. I mean, it's a little bit different from, how the movies have gone, where it's basically just a slasher flick and the alien acts as the slasher. They were actively trying to prevent the Weyland-Yutani Corporation from obtaining a specimen and all that was involved in it. Like I said, overall, I like the book. We'll see what happens with the Ripley character there, whether or not the facehugger had in fact impregnated her. Maybe. They seem to always get the job done. They seem to always get the job done in the movies, but we'll see what happens here in the comics. The comics are always their own separate thing. I don't have a whole lot to add besides that. I mean, like I said, I finished the story like all in one shot, like while I was waiting for my kid to finish with his little preschool class. I read it, just sitting there watching. That's about 45 minutes long, and I just knocked this fuck out. So, it was good. I enjoyed it a lot. I'll be curious in October when the second trade comes out. I'll be curious to see where the story goes next. What are we doing next?
What are we doing next? Like, as in our next book that we're going to cover next week?
No, I just felt like saying something that my son says all the time.
Oh, okay. What are we? Well,
what are we doing next? What are we doing next?
I'm just perusing through like issue 5 here, and Ronnie, you mentioned gore. Hoo-wee, Mr. Poopy Butthole.
What?
What's
season
happening
2.
now?
Season 2 Rick and Morty. Mark Radlich, I know I'm going to make you watch Season 1 Rick and Morty at some point, so you'll enjoy. You'll enjoy
it's
Season
on
2.
My Hulu watch list.
You sound so excited. He's excited, folks. Listen to that excitement. All right. Well, anyway, issue 5, where the aliens are going through and wiping out. It looks like they're wiping out the Marines. There's one part where the freaking tongue with teeth goes through the back of some dude's skull and out the front. I mean, there is some nastiness that happens in this, and it's not overcome with gore, but man, when somebody dies, that's for sure. But
if he dies, he dies.
Well,
if he dies, he dies.
He dies.
I mean, well,
if he dies,
right,
he dies.
The page before that, one dude is getting ripped in half. The aliens could take care of business. They can take care of business. All right, Ronnie Adams, final thoughts here on the Aliens Defiance issues 1 through 6.
No, other than the fact that I'm going to continue reading, and until it's done, it's been a good read. I mean, like, I've really enjoyed it. I'm a big Aliens fan anyway. I've done a little bit of research here and there, not as extensively as some, but I've seen Prometheus and whatnot. But I've really, 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 really enjoyed this. I mean, it's been a fun ride, and I'm really excited to see where it goes next.
Yeah, I think they're on issue 10 or 11 right now.
11, I think.
Is it 11? Okay. So they're just about to wrap this up. And, I mean, I'll give props to Brian Wood for writing a pretty good story here. I've enjoyed it so far. It does have all the elements of a typical alien movie. Already mentioned the gore. You got Weyland-Yutani, which, by the way, I know I said I was going to mention this, but earlier today I was listening to Stuff You Should Know, which I have caught up. I listen to podcasts a lot while I'm at work. So just to toot my own horn, I've listened to close to 70 podcasts in about 3 weeks of Stuff You Should Know, just to catch up from last year to this year. And today was one of the coolest fucking podcasts I heard them do ever, which was fan theories, okay? Crazy fan theories. And specifically, Weyland-Yutani came up, and you guys wouldn't believe why. And tell me if you guys have heard this fan theory or not. But what had been proposed was that the ending of St. Elsewhere, Mark Radlich, have you seen the final episode of St. Elsewhere? Have you heard of what happened at the end of St. Elsewhere?
I know, like, famously, it was all like a dream. And it was all, it's the kid looking at like a snow globe or some shit.
Yeah. And I'll share. I will share, once I find this on the internet, I'll share this theory. Because I certainly don't remember all the specifics. But yes, some kid wakes up and the whole show has been a dream inside this kid's head as he looks into the snow globe. Tommy, gosh darn it. I can't remember his name, Tommy something. But what they have proposed, what has been proposed, is that over 400 shows have been all taken place inside this kid's mind, because they have this theory called the 6 degrees of separation from Tommy whatever. And what they've done is they have been able to tie all these shows into St. Elsewhere in some fashion, including Weyland-Yutani, which has been brought up on Firefly and also the series Angel. And there are a couple other actual movies I think they had listed on the Wikipedia. So I thought that was very interesting. Weyland-Yutani, my friend.
I've watched all of Angel
Firefly?
and Buffy and everything. I watched the whole season of Firefly, and I don't remember that.
Okay.
Maybe I wasn't paying
All right.
close attention, but
Well,
I
you
know
know how
Wolfram and Hart.
Yes, Wolfram and Hart. They specifically mentioned I can't remember what episode it is, but they say they've represented a corporation by the name of Weyland-Yutani. It was just a passing thing. They said, yeah, Weyland-Yutani is one of our biggest clients. And the one for Firefly, I'll find it and post it, but I know it was specifically.
Please do, because like I said, I'm a big fan of all those shows. It's all Joss Whedon.
Yeah.
Buffy, Angel, Firefly. They're all Joss Whedon, and Joss Whedon actually wrote Alien Resurrection. So that may be why. So, but I don't remember that. That's pretty interesting.
Weyland-Yutani was the UA-561 ground sentry, which was an anti-aircraft emplacement used at the Battle of Serenity Valley. There you go, sir.
Wow. I'm going to have to go back and watch everything.
Yeah, again, like I said, it's probably not a big thing, but that's apparently this symbol.
Of course, it's not like, yeah.
The corporation
it's probably not like
logo,
Canon or whatever.
The corporation logo, which is like a W with like a few other things in it, shows up on a lot of things. And so if you're not paying attention, you might miss it. But there you go.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat stuff. Anyway, all right.
I guess I'm not as big a fan as I thought I was.
Trivia is trivia, man. You learned something tonight. By golly.
Absolutely.
Mark Radlich, you enjoyed the story. Okay, let's do a rating system for you, buddy. 1 through 5. What do you give the story so far?
I'd give it a 4.
All right. How about your art?
I can actually follow the art and knew what was happening, and nobody turned into a building. So I give it a 4 as well.
All right. Standard.
I didn't want to
nobody turned into a building review.
The artist. I didn't want to punch the artist. That was a plus.
Didn't want to give him names such as Ham Sandwich, and we made progress. All right. So, Mark Radlich, since we're still on you, buddy, let's go ahead. We'll get into plugs, unless you guys have any other burning desires to discuss on this story. I'll take that as a no. All right. Mark Radlich, please, plug, sir.
All right. So tomorrow night on Damn You Hollywood, hopefully, maybe, probably, I will be on with Robert Winfrey. I apologize for missing last week's King Arthur review. I was on the verge. I was very sick, and I was on the verge of vomiting, so I bailed out on that at the last second. I was kind of hoping I was hoping it would all pass by the time the show began. It was like the Flash was just about over, and I was not well. I was like, all right, I need to quit this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not well. I want to go for a walk. So with that being said, but I'm doing much better now. I'm doing much better today. So there shouldn't be any reason why I'm going to miss tomorrow. And we'll be reviewing in full Alien Covenant. I kind of talked a little bit about it earlier. And, overall, just, if you're listening to this podcast and you want a sort of a preview of what all I thought about it, there was a lot of potential for a really good Alien movie here, and instead it was a lot of like half measures and unexplored ideas, and then attacked on we gotta have the alien chasing them through a ship endings. It was just annoyed the shit out of me. I mean, if all you want in an alien movie is to have some chick running around in her underwear being chased by an alien, and then at the end they blow it out the airlock like they do in every alien movie, except for the third one where they weren't in space, they were on a planet, then whatever, it's fine. If you're looking for something a little bit different, if you're looking for something a little bit more challenging, a little bit more interesting, you're not going to find it in this movie. You will, however, find a lot of answers to Prometheus. So if you left that movie like I did, confused as fuck, you will find answers, and they may or may not be satisfying themselves, but at least they're there. Like I said, spoiler alert: David creates the aliens, the Xenomorphs.
Damn you, David!
Hooray! Yeah. Now, why he does that, I will leave that to you to figure out when you see the movie. But that's where we are, and we'll talk at length about that tomorrow on Damn You Hollywood at 9 o'clock. And then Wednesday is the Metal Hammer of Doom. We'll be reviewing Dragon Force, the new album. Now, we were supposed to actually do an on-trial for Prometheus. We were supposed to do an on-trial last week for Contact. Sean's having some personal issues, so between his personal issues and my health, we've just decided to take a break from on-trial till June. In theory, we're going to pick it up again with Superman Returns the week that we're reviewing Wonder Woman. Like I said, in theory, at this point, like I said, with Sean, with his situation, and me with my dicey health, I'm not making any promises. But that's the plan.
All right, Ronnie Adams, my man, my right-hand man,
yes, sir.
with the plan. What's the haps? What's the haps?
I am, like I've said before, down one computer right now. It should be in my possession once again very, very soon. Hopefully soon. But so we have not been able to put anything out on iTunes just yet. But you still can catch us raw, unedited, and full of flavor on YouTube. And we just put out Josh Clanders is on there. We just did our Mystery Science Theater 3000 visit where they released Mystery Science Theater 3000 The Return. So I'm a big MST3K fan. I have been since high school. So I was really looking forward to this, and it didn't disappoint. So please go in there, look for it, and on YouTube. Josh Clanders, big fan as well. Spoiler alert: he does have a couple of drinks during the middle of it, so be ready.
I don't think I should be a spoiler
alert.
For
that. So we have that, and we've got some other things that are going to be coming up as well, but mainly because the computer is out of action right now. I'm having a few technical difficulties, but which is good. I mean, not good. It's good in the sense of to take a step back and reorganize and get things going, solid again. So we've got that. We've got, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the whole nine. I'm actually, if I can set my phone up just right, I'll probably be doing, I just got a Loot Crate today. I'll probably be doing my first Loot Crate, opening, soon, unboxing. Probably not going to be, I've already peeked at it. It's probably not going to be the best unboxing to start with, but still got a really cool T-shirt out of it. So that was very, I love their T-shirts. In fact, I noticed something when I went, like I said, took a little vacation to see my family and stuff. When I packed all these T-shirts, packed a dress shirt to go to church with, my parents and everything. But I looked at all my T-shirts. I was like, man, these are all Loot Crate T-shirts. So they put out some really cool T-shirts, which I've my last one was a Power Rangers T-shirt. I've got an F Society shirt on right now from Loot Crate. So I should be doing that soon.
Awesome. Mark, what do we got coming up on Monday? Did you already plug our Nightcrawler? What we're going to do with Nightcrawler? Nope. What was the name of that story? Okay, do that. What was the name of that story again?
Well, it's the Chris Claremont Nightcrawler limited series, issues 1 through 6. I'm actually reading the trade for it now, and that's part of Pirates Week here on the Rattlevision Broadcasting Network. We're going to be looking at Nightcrawler. That's going to be Monday. Tuesday will be our review of Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales. Wednesday is the new Ailstorm, No Grave But the Sea. Thursday, Ronnie and I are going to do a TV party tonight and discuss the Stars series Black Sails Season 1, first 8 episodes.
Yeah, we are.
What a weird show that is.
Such a good show, though.
It's a well done, it's a well crafted show. They say fuck a lot on it.
They do, yeah.
There's a lot of boobs. There's a lot of boobs and a lot of use of the word fuck. That's what I'll tell you about that show. Not a show to put on with your child.
Well,
keep your 3-year-old out of the room is what I'm going to tell you. And then on Friday, Ronnie Adams and the Streaming Boy Network is going to give you their pirate show. And what are you going to be talking about in your pirate show, Ronnie?
Why pirates are cooler than ninjas?
By the way, have you ever seen, if you haven't, you need to watch it and talk about it on your show, the Ask a Ninja review of Pirates of the Caribbean 2?
Oh, my gosh. I have the Ask a Ninja book, my friend.
Oh, do you?
Wow.
Really? I just rewatched that again. I will periodically watch that because it makes me laugh so hard. Like, to this day, I'll still bring it up, and it'll like you cross that with a bucket of chicken.
Oh. So that's something I've missed for a long time. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch it.
Dude, I was going to say, man, I can remember when Kira was little and watching Ask a Ninja with her, and that was like probably a year or two after like YouTube got really popular. Oh man, that's some great stuff. Great stuff.
I've never really watched anything else by Ask a Ninja, but the Ask a Ninja review of Pirates of the Caribbean is still one of the funniest things I've ever seen on YouTube.
All right. Well, I'll get into my plugs here. Ladies and gentlemen, go give that Rattleitch Broadcasting Network Facebook page a like to stay up on top of all the great podcasts that we have to offer. You can find all sorts of shows there. We got MMA shows. We have comic shows. You're listening to one right now. Shows on comic books. We talk metal. We talk all sort movies. Hey, movies. You like any of those things? You can find that on the network. Absolutely go check it out. Source Material does have a YouTube page, so if you're interested in checking out some of the YouTube content that we have, just type in hashtag Source Material on there, and you can find us there pretty easily. Rattleitch Broadcasting Network is on Blog Talk. It's on iTunes. It's on Stitcher. It's on TuneIn Radio. And thanks to our good buddies over there at W2Mnet.com, we are on Spreaker as well. So if you have a Spreaker account, you can find it. You can type in Rattleitch there, and you'd be able to find most of the shows that our good buddy Sean Garmer is able to post, and check it out. We're doing the same thing with some of his shows. He's got a lot of wrestling content that's been dropping on the network lately. I hope you guys have been enjoying that. Plus, hey, we were just able to get our good buddy Stuart Lang's Press Start podcast up on the network today. It says it was on there Saturday. Let's pretend I got it uploaded Saturday, okay? It's there though. Let's put it it's there. Video games. We talk video games on this network. So hey, but other than that, I really don't have a whole lot else to plug. You can follow me at Stiznarkey on Twitter if you do so wish. Also, Source Material Twitter is at SourceMattCast. And all I ask here is that my good buddy Ronnie Adams and my good buddy Mark Rattleitch, number one, has a great night, and I want to thank them for joining me here. But I want to also request that they stick around for at least a minute as we play our outro. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good one.